Welcome to episode 3 of Penn and Sadie Save the World.
Penn and Sadie save the world. Penn and Sadie save the world.
Yeah, this bang on Spotify too. My mom's.
I know, dude. My brother's been listening on Spotify. It's exciting.
Yeah, shout out to our biggest fans, Mom, Sadie's brother, all the rest of you guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, Frost. We appreciate
Yes.
you. Are you ready for Halloween? Can I show the picture of you guys at the haunted house?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah, me and Gigi. Yeah, it was fun. It started pouring rain, and it came down so hard, so we left. It's like one of those things where you walk through the paths or whatever, and then people jump out and scare you. It was cool. Some of the guys did really well. There was one point where it went pitch black, and then this guy just appeared in front of us. I was like, all right, it's okay. All right, it's pretty scary.
All right. This guy was ready for Halloween. You sent this to me.
Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out!
Don't touch him. Don't
touch me! Get the fuck out!
Don't touch him.
Nobody here is gonna wait. Fuck you! What the fuck?
He's in my. Yo, are you in my accounting class? Yeah! What up, bro? What's good, bro? How are you? Look at this guy.
Fuck you!
This is terrible.
What the fuck is your problem?
Is this serious?
Oh my god!
No, I have no idea. We're seeing you on the second. No.
So much to say about that video. One, it's like the perfect Halloween costume. He's actually got everyone terrified. It's hard to
Right,
come up
man.
with a Halloween costume that's actually
It's-
scary these days.
It's so funny because this was, I'm a boomer, so this was totally normal back in the day. Like, I would go down to Kent State in Ohio for Halloween, and there was at least 20 dudes dressed up like Nazis. Like, it was not that big of a deal. It's Halloween. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, and the comment I put on there for X, there's really no better analogy of the left than the girl actively pushing him and aggressing on him while everyone shouts, "Don't touch her! Don't touch her!"
And these kids are losing their fucking minds, man. It's Halloween, you guys. Lighten up.
Yeah, and you see the guy
Dress
in the
up
blue.
like a Nazi.
You see the guy in the blue. He's so emotional and upset.
Is this serious?
Oh my god!
No, I have no idea.
It's almost blatantly obvious how performative it is. It's simping. That's grade A S tier simping right there. That's
I agree with that. I agree with that. And it is funny, the guy in the accounting class.
He's in my. Yo, are you in my accounting class? Yeah! What up, bro? What's good, bro? How are you? Look at this guy.
Because if the guy's funny anyway. He kind of reminds me of Johnny Balls. Like, shout out Johnny Balls. But he turns around and he's like, "Oh yeah, accounting class," is like making a joke. Gets over there, starts filming, and then that guy in blue starts screaming, and even that dude turns around like, "What is happening here?"
Is this serious?
Oh my god!
No, I have no idea.
Like he even is like, "Yo, this is a little too much." So, like, read the crowd, man. There's like 3 people freaking out at this guy who's laughing, clearly intoxicated, and they take it too far every time.
There's also the guy who says, "That's so terrible."
This is terrible.
It sounds like he was about to say, "That's so awesome." You got to give him credit. That's a high quality Halloween costume. That he didn't just slap on an
Absolutely.
armband to be offensive. He went, "That's a costume." That was
Yeah, he's got the SS's on the collar and shit. Like
Yeah.
he went all in for that.
And
It's
dude,
well
it's
fitted.
It's funny. It's a great. Honestly, it makes me want to wear that costume. It's hard to get that kind of reaction with a Halloween costume and not just people, "Oh, nice costume, bro. Yeah, nice alien suit or whatever." It's like
Right, especially
that's
it's topical.
hilarious.
It's topical
Yeah.
right now too.
It's topical, and the
You
whole
know?
point, if you were actually in the Halloween spirit, in the Halloween mood, you wouldn't take it this seriously. It's like,
Right.
what's the whole point is to be something scary. People dress up as Satan. Should Christians be offended? It's on par with what Halloween is supposed to be.
Right.
And yet they're freaking out because for whatever reason. He must actually be a Nazi. I saw one comment that said all the women are dressing up like sluts. And he's like, they must think you have to dress like you how you actually are.
It's crazy though that they are so comfortable with like actually throwing hands and like putting hands on people now though.
Yeah, well,
You know?
that is one of the most interesting parts of that video, in my opinion, is how he's being actively aggressed upon. They're pushing him, they're hitting him, and then screaming at him to not touch her.
Don't touch me. Get the fuck out.
It's cry-bullying. This is such an encapsulation of the modern left. If we don't make them scared to be Nazis, they'll make us scared to not be. And come on, bro. Relax. Relax. But this is like what I've said before, where it's this weird obsession with like high school history. Like these people haven't evolved their understanding. We live in a different time. Even if Hitler came back to life, he's not doing the exact same things. It's 2025.
Right.
We live in the modern world. It's this very emotional, childish view of the world to just be scared of Nazis, scared of Hitler. Hitler's been dead for 80 years. It's been 80 years since that man died, and he's still got a grip on these people's minds. We don't live in that time period anymore. The issues of today are different. Even if the Nazis came back, it would be in a different form. It would look different. And Ronald Reagan that said, if fascism ever does come to the United States, it'll come in the name of liberalism. Well, where are we right now?
Right.
These people are actively using fascism as an attack to support their fascist positions.
Right. And just a Penn and Sadie fact check. Hitler's been dead for 80 to 40 years, depending on what you believe.
Depending on whether he died in Germany or Argentina.
Argentina, yeah, in 1987. This is actually infuriating, especially for somebody that travels on American interstates for a living. You know, I'm constantly on the road picking up and being like, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to Ohio, I'm going to Missouri. I used to drive like somewhere between 30 to 40,000 miles a year. I used to travel on the road up to like 230 days a year. And in the last 5 years, I've noticed a significant decline in just driving skills across the board, but especially in semis. I've seen some like really fucking dangerous things with semis over the last couple of years. And I think this might be why.
Don't punish everyone just because of one person.
Raman Dhillon is the CEO of the North American Punjabi Trucking Association, made up of more than 2,000 members. He's been in the business for 3 decades, but these incidents and the political back and forth that's followed have even seasoned drivers worried.
Do your drivers feel safe leaving California?
Absolutely not. They are not feeling safe. There are a lot of good drivers, a lot of people that we work with every day, a lot of people that they are taking care of their families, they're doing the things right, you know, but they are fearful right now. They are very fearful.
At a truck stop off of I-5, we set out to talk to drivers about their experiences, but no one wanted to be on camera talking about this subject out of fear.
But again, like in the back of your head, like if you're driving for a minute, there's still an instinct.
Fixing the fear, Dhillon suggests, may just start with understanding what's happening on the highway.
As a Sikh, as a Punjabi, as a Sikh, as an Indian, not everyone out there is a culprit, but everyone faces that. We face that.
How telling is it that they won't appear on camera about this particular subject? No, you can't get anyone to appear on camera to talk about this at all. But how dare you talk about you feeling unsafe because there's been a major uptick in politicized incidents of these people getting into wrecks on the highway, not having the appropriate licensing, not supposed to be licensed at all because of their status. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's also scary enough for people to have licenses that shouldn't and be on our roads in a normal car. If you're going to get in an accident, you want to be the person in these trucks. These trucks are huge. They're 10 feet above the rest of the cars. It's insane that they're the victims.
Right. Well, and this
But
is what our boy Justin said. He comes on our spaces sometimes in the afternoons on weekdays, 3:35 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern on Frost Channel. Check us out. This fucker would be better suited saying we want all the drivers to be here legally and well trained. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. This is victim complex like I've never seen before. We have to stop importing
the
this.
same people that have been trying to convince us that there's no reason to question the voter rolls, even though we know that the government is not doing their diligence in confirming that people are eligible for driver's licenses, apparently even CDLs now. So, I mean, I think that this is probably compelling evidence to me that our entire government has been subverted by this ideology that, oh, we should just have undocumented people treated the same. And these accidents, I've seen at least 2 off the top of my head in the last 6 months of accidents.
Yeah,
that were
actually,
caused by
I
people
have
with-
one.
Yeah.
I have one here. Yeah, let's check it out.
Now take a look. This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario just after 1 p.m. yesterday. The CHP told the LA Times the driver of this big rig is a 21-year-old man who is now under arrest on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs. A total of 4 semis were involved and also 4 passenger vehicles, one of them exploding in flames. 3 people were killed and 4 others were taken to local hospitals. This horrific crash happened just east of the 15 freeway and shut down all westbound lanes for more than 12 hours. Thousands of drivers were trapped in the gridlock just as the evening commute was getting underway. It also happened near the Ontario airport, so the crash likely delayed people that were trying to get to their flights.
Illegal alien from India, Jashanpreet Singh.
Did he have a CDL?
Oh, another California licensed illegal alien truck driver. So yeah, there you go. He was licensed in California.
You expect more from the government, but I guess we know better.
Right. Yeah, and he was employed by Matthew Transport LLC based out of Indianapolis. I saw another one. I think the dude was on like a Florida toll road somewhere. He was driving the wrong way.
You have got to be kidding me. I mean, what the are... Dude, what? What are you doing?
I'm going that way. Keep us right here. But it's not working. Then I'm doing done. I'll go the other side.
Let me ask you a question, man.
Okay.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now.
Okay. What I'm doing, sir?
Well, one, why the going the wrong way down the freeway?
That's all right. I'm doing it back. Sorry, sir.
Well, no, I'm just asking because
I'm so sorry, but when is the fault? I go that side. When that's not.
yeah, turn around when you have a clear spot.
Okay.
Don't even move your truck. Turn your hazard lights on for one.
Okay.
Turn your hazard lights on now. Your hazard lights, your blinkers, your blinkers, your hat. Turn your hazard lights on. They're on. Okay.
Okay, I'll do it.
You know, they're gonna say it's racist to not hand out CDLs like candy. I don't know what the argument is in favor of this, or why we shouldn't crack down on California for having these policies. I mean, this is why when they say, there's a little bit of a tangent, but this is why when they say there's no evidence of voter fraud. Well, there's no evidence of voter fraud if you compare it to the voter rolls. But then how many people are on the voter rolls are people who have licenses, because you're automatically registered as a voter in California when you get a license, right? And so if you're getting a license as an undocumented illegal, that does stand to reason that they're now on the voter rolls. So when they compare the voter rolls to the voting, and they're like, oh, there's nothing amiss here. Well, let's look at those voter rolls, because I'd be curious to see how many of the people on the voter rolls are people who have licenses illegally. At some point, we need to start holding California politicians accountable for this. Because if these events aren't going to spur change, then it does seem intentional what they're doing.
Right. It definitely does.
What we
You're
got
gonna
here?
like this one. Kamala, I don't know, this I think this clip came out like a week ago, but I was a little surprised, and then I remembered, oh yeah, she had reports of high turnover in her administration for a reason.
They'll figure out who you are soon enough.
Kamala Harris, you are a right-wing war criminal! You are a right-wing... You funded genocide! 461 days! Nancy Rogers was shot 355 times during your administration! You lost the election because you would rather be a Republican than a Democrat! You lost, this is your fault! We have 4 years of Trump because of your 107 days! You are a war criminal! You sold out the youth! You sold out the climate! Shame on you! This is all your fault! This is your fault! We have Trump because this is your fault! Get the fuck out of here.
Not up though, right? I was like, oh, all right, Kamala, what the fuck is that?
Immediately squaring up does kind of go hard. I wish she had that energy when she was running. No, it is interesting. It is funny though that they use the words like right wing and Republican not to describe anything right wing or Republican, but just as you're the enemy now. You're on the other side.
Exactly. Exactly.
This reminds me of Katie Porter. I don't know if we'll get into that. It's a bit of an aged story now, but you've seen the California governor race, right? I like the one where she's doing the interview and she's like, they say, all of the other candidates answered our follow-up questions, and she says, "I'm me."
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters?
And I guarantee you this woman is called Trump a narcissist. I guarantee you. Yet she is exhibiting like again, another perfect encapsulation of the modern left. I was watching Asmongold's reaction to that, and he was saying she would make a great like ancient queen, where she's just like,
for real.
You know, she could just order someone's death because they pissed her off.
Hang on 1 second, everybody.
No, we should put the computer up on it.
Yes, we should have. Yes. Okay, everybody, I'm not that dark.
Uh-oh. Somebody's about to get... Yep. Somebody's about to get executed. And now...
Just a minute.
Comes back, all the fucking assistants are dead. Blood all over. Okay, all right, now we're fine. Anyway...
She's acting like she's already the governor. Like, oh, you don't want to do this. You don't want to cross with me. Like, I want to have a pleasant experience with you. And then, in fact, in one of the most telling parts of that interview, I've never had to do this before. She's only ever engaged with favorable journalists. Like, what does she think's going to happen when she's governor? When she has to go to the Trump administration as the governor and negotiate or make deals or any of that. And it's hilarious because at this point, she's tanked so hard, so fast that I don't even think she has a chance anymore of winning. So it's kind of a moot point now. But
I mean, I don't know that that's true though, dude. I don't know that that's true. Like, she was the one that was positioned after Newsom. Like, that's like, I think Newsom has been endorsing her and shit too.
Well, we'll see what happens. Certainly in California, anything can happen. But the last polling I saw on this issue, and before average debate enjoyer says anything, I still don't respect polling.
What does the poly market say?
Yeah, right. But she went from something like 40% to 10%, and a state senator that isn't even running jumped from 10% to 27%.
As this new CBS poll shows, the leading candidate for governor is someone who hasn't entered the race, Senator Alex Padilla. Katie Porter's new numbers show while 27% of voters are considering voting for her, 41% are not considering voting for her, with 32% who have not heard enough.
Well, did you see the divorce documents? I was reading it to Cassie, actually, who does Spaces with us, and she even said, she's like, okay, I was sitting here and I was like, you're reading this. I read it right out of these court documents, and I got to the point where she like takes the boiling pot of potatoes and pours them over her husband's head, giving him like second-degree scald burns or something like that. And Cassie on the signal, I like couldn't believe what came out of my mouth. I'm like, dude, these are out of the court documents. She struck him in the face when he tried to stop her from yelling at their kid. Like, it's totally psychopathic shit in here. But do I put it past California to elect this as their governor? No.
Well, it's also based off of the last few clips we've watched of her, the most believable thing in the world. I don't know how her ex-husband ended up with her in the first place. So maybe
Poor
he
guy.
deserved it. But that's what being a leftist does to you. It inherently makes you ugly. And actually, just a quick tangent, I learned this when I was researching why girls do the sort of scissor cuts across for the bangs. You know, it's intended to subvert beauty norms. That's why they do it. That's what it's designed for, which is essentially meaning it's ugly, and they know it because they're trying to subvert beauty norms. So it's only a leftist that I've ever seen. When you see that, it's as clear as a septum ring. They make themselves ugly on purpose to fight against the system. There's something really deeply strange going on among the modern left. I almost hope that she wins just because people will really sour on the left if she's the governor. I mean, how would they not? Normal people will reject Katie Porter on a national level.
Well, between Katie Porter and Prop 50, the redistricting, the forced redistricting from California, where I don't know if you've seen any of the press they're putting out for it. Prop 50 is going to ensure that Democrats are in power forever in California, as they should be. Like, they're not even trying to hide it, you know?
Fascism to beat the fascists. That's the only way.
Right.
Yeah, that's insane. It's insane that like a state would justify their position based on something another state did. Yeah.
Soy Pill wanted to act like it's disingenuous, but this was on the back end of a judge that was like, no, you have to redistrict. It went to the Texas Supreme Court and it was pushed to the side. And then there was the opportunity, absolutely, to pick up more Republican seats. And they dusted this decision off and were like, cool, let's do it. But this did start because they brought it to Texas legislators saying that the districts were not representative enough of people of color.
Right.
And that's how the new lines were redrawn. So now they're more representative, I guess. And what do you know? They're also going to vote Republican. That's weird.
Yeah, and this is a good tangent into the Ketanji Brown Jackson statements, because I think, have a more nuanced take on what she's trying to argue.
I guess I'm thinking of it, of the fact that remedial action, absent discriminatory intent, is really not a new idea in the civil rights laws. And my kind of paradigmatic example of this is something like the ADA. Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system, right? They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
There may be some line of thought that like you can twist around into this, but specifically when you're talking about the ADA, you're talking about like a physical obstruction to gaining access, and they had to do things like handicap parking spaces, put in ramps, things like that. You can't really compare that, people of color, minorities, disadvantaged people don't have access to the voting system because of past policy. Like, it's an abstract idea. They physically can get to the building. They physically can get in. That's a lot different than like the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Right. And I think there's a couple false presumptions here. And it's probably actually a good example of them of the left using one variable at a time to justify their positions. But there's a presumption here, one, that we live in some sort of segregated society. And second, that blacks can't be represented by whites, or that whites can't be represented by blacks. That I don't buy that. I don't believe that to be the case. I don't only vote for white people because I think only white people can represent my interest. And this is something that I would think on the left they would understand. I mean, we've been shamed and called racist for not supporting someone like Obama. They're like, oh, what's the concern? Well, if these people are convinced that you can only represent people of your own race, why would I have ever voted for Obama? How would Obama have even become president? So there's a false premise here, and her case would actually make more sense if we lived in a segregated society. If there were entire cities in the South that were just purely black and other cities that were white, I would think that you need to ensure that they have representation for their communities. But the problem is we don't live in that world. We don't live under Jim Crow. We don't live under this type of segregated area where the only people that could represent you would be people that look like you. So her argument, I don't think, I've seen the memes, I do think they're funny. I don't think she's actually making the argument that like, oh, blacks are just like disabled people, but she's using this sort of false premise that the access to them needs to be granted because otherwise they don't have representation. When in reality, just because your representative is white doesn't mean that you are not being represented, or just because your representative is black doesn't mean that whites aren't being represented. And this is something that someone on the left, I think, should understand very clearly. But this is probably a good example of them trying to force a political conclusion and find their way to it in the dark rather than actually turn the lights on and find the real answer.
Right. Well, and I do think it's quite telling too that she's speaking about, policies that have made it difficult for minorities to have access, just as that's fact. That is a fact that there's been, that's a political ideology, something that is absolutely pushed on the left. And she's just speaking to it like, oh, we all agree that, the minorities have been disadvantaged by these different litigation and rules and all these other things that happen. Like, no, I don't think I necessarily agree with that. I think that black people are capable enough to be able to obtain a driver's license, go register to vote, and show up to the polling location and cast their vote. I do believe that black people can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is one of the worst justices we've ever seen on the Supreme Court. If
do you think there's
to be removed, this is the one.
Is there a chance? Do you think we could see this?
I don't know.
What would have to happen? It's an impeachment process, quite like what we saw with Trump 3 times. Like, what is the process?
I believe that is the only way to have her removed is to either, rally her, convince her to step down herself, or to have her impeached. But impeachment, I don't think is likely unless, maybe, we get the next 5 years, 8-1 decisions all of the time where she's just clearly not on the level with the rest of the court. Maybe we would see that. But as long as she's got sort of because she's one of 4 justices that are on the left on a lot of these issues. She's just one vote. I don't know that it's going to justify removing her. But again, maybe another route to this would be showing that Biden was, the auto pen president. Maybe if lot of all of the fraud that comes out of that would justify saying this president who was clearly committing a fraud on the American people by allowing his auto pen to be used by others and basically not serving as the actual president, as a shadow president, would support and result in people actually impeaching her. But this is going to take, significant wins in Congress to make that happen, because it's not going to be a easy position to defend. Even a lot of, I think, casual right-wingers would scoff at the idea of impeaching her just because of their super principled stance. But if there were ever a case to do it, I would argue in this case where she's basically got no understanding of how the court operates, this is the type of justice you should see get impeached. Because she's already been reamed out by all these other justices for not understanding the issues on a lot of cases. She's
and justices on her own side, like Sotomayor got upset with her. Like, it hasn't just been Amy Coney Barrett that's called her out. You know what I mean? Like, her own side's called her out too. So I do think that there's something amiss there. And I don't even want to give the impression that I think she's stupid. You know what I mean? She's obviously articulate. You know, she doesn't stumble over her words or anything, but she does seem to fall back on that I don't understand type of thing.
I don't understand. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just not sure I understand. I'm just trying to understand. Yeah, I think yes, I'm trying to understand. I don't understand. Can I understand? I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. I don't understand. Can you help me just to understand? Because I'm trying to understand. And I'm just trying to understand. I guess I'm just trying to understand. So I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I'm trying to understand. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. I guess I'm still stuck on trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand. So I'm just trying to understand. I guess I don't really understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
It really like is a callback to the Millennial Woes tweet about the left. That's the kind of like misunderstanding that I get from out of her, is just like this willfully obtuse, can only look at one variable of every issue at one time, you know, incapable of the 30,000 foot view. And I feel like we have that in a Supreme Court justice, just like a total activist.
Yeah, the left often operates logically in reverse, where they have a conclusion and they work backwards from that. They have a conclusion, they try to reason and justify that. And maybe sometimes that works out, but most of the time, 90% of the time, every time, it doesn't work out. This is an example of them working backwards. And this is why most conversations with leftists happen. What ends up happening is they come to compare conclusions. And they get offended when you start asking questions. You start asking questions to help reason them through, and they get mad at you. They get offended because you make them feel stupid, because they start to realize, oh, maybe I should have asked these questions when somebody just handed me this conclusion. But they're just passing around conclusions in the dark with trying to reason out of it, rather than what happens all the time on the right, where they try to reason to the conclusion. And I'll admit, this can end up with a lot of right-wingers in crazy places. You know, a lot of right-wingers I know have crazy conspiracies. They go down weird paths, but that's because they're starting with the reasoning first, and then they get derailed. They're not trying to brute force a conclusion. And that's the biggest difference, I think, between the right and the left, is that the left will take a conclusion when it's handed to them and just kind of bank it. And then the right will take some, you know, weird reasoning, and they just chase that down in the wrong direction. So it's like there's two totally different approaches to how the right and left wing analyze things.
Well, I think it's the reason why you and I are totally sure that Trump isn't some disgusting pedophile, and why people that we talk to on the internet are totally 100% sure that he is, and has the evidence for it, where if you actually look at this evidence, it's flimsy at best, but the conclusion's already been served up to them.
Their best, most compelling evidence is pictures of Trump and Epstein together. And I posted about this the other day on X. But these people have such conviction that Trump is implicated in the Epstein files. In which case, why do you even need the Epstein files? What do you need the release for? Right? So I'd flip it back onto them. If you what has you so compelled with such conviction that he's implicated in these files that you admittedly don't have, that you're demanding the release of? And I hope the Epstein files come out. But you and I have been on this for 7-8 years. The idea that it has to happen right now where he's implicated makes no sense. But these are also the challenge to these people is to say, is your compelling evidence that's led you to this conviction pictures of him with Epstein? Is that really all it took? Because Pizzagate had more compelling evidence than this. We had the John Podesta emails.
Anthony Weiner's laptop. Anthony Weiner's laptop.
Weiner's laptop had kill switches in it. It was filled with crap that wasn't supposed to be there. We never get to see it. Supposedly 9 cops watched the videos on Weiner's laptop. They had to keep leaving the room because they couldn't stand what they were seeing. And all 9 are now dead. And there's names and faces and deadness, right? They're real people. Now you can say, well, maybe they died for other reasons. I go, but it's still 9 cops.
Has
Hunter
more
Biden's
weight
laptop.
than this. Yep.
Nearly every other conspiracy theory that they've mocked and derided us for on the right had more compelling evidence than pictures of Trump and Epstein case closed. These people have
same
such
3
conviction
pictures.
while they demand the evidence support it, but they admittedly don't have it. And nearly every time, the only answer I ever get back is pictures of Trump and Epstein. We've all seen them 100 times. If you're on X, they're posting these pictures of Trump and Epstein. That is not compelling evidence. It leaves open the question, but they have such strong conviction in this position with nothing. Essentially nothing. You would never convince a reasonable person that this is evidence that Trump was engaged in the sex trafficking. Jeffrey Epstein was a public figure at this time.
Right.
These pictures,
and that's
all sorts of
a public figure, and nobody is even thinking about the fact that like there was no such thing as cell phones back then. This was an event that Trump was willing to publicly appear in. Epstein was there too, and like photographers were invited there, and these pictures were taken. You know what I mean? There was a lot more. It was a lot more controlled than it is today. This wasn't some like, oh, they were caught together. This was a public event because he didn't even own the island at the time. That didn't happen until the early 2000s.
Not to say anyone is anything good about Jeffrey Epstein, but Stephen Hawking was notorious for hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Do we really think that his motivation for hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein was sex trafficking children? Like Epstein has become, the Epstein obsession has melted the brains of these people, and they're not realizing that, yeah, he probably was engaged in blackmailing and sex trafficking, but that doesn't mean that every single thing he did, every single person he interacted with was also engaged with that. These people have melted their brains with this obsession to a way worse. I mean, these are the same people that were mocking anyone for following QAnon, anyone who talked about Pizzagate, anyone who talked about Obama's fake birth certificate, which is fake.
It's fake as fuck. More on that later.
I love bringing that up because you just pull up the public birth certificate that they put out and it's visibly fake. You can tell
it's obviously fake. Yes. And Trump was right. Trump was right about that, dude. I thought he was crazy when he first came out with it. But again, because I'm not going to allow the media just to feed me a conclusion, I was asking myself, why the fuck is Donald Trump saying this shit is fake? I'm going to look into this. And I walked away with the conclusion like that is definitely fake.
Yeah, and I'm confident that we're going to get more on the Epstein story as well. A lot of people are acting like we're constantly in the final seconds of a basketball game where there's no opportunity, as if there's not 3 more years, there's not more developments that could happen, there's not more that could come out. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. But these people, like I said, are so compelled to this conviction because it's a political power move to them. They're not interested in the truth. They're interested in having power over us. That's why 10 years ago, they were telling us how the Constitution was outdated. And now they're trying to appeal to our constitutional principles, but say, oh, Trump's not the First Amendment president. Trump hates the Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. And it's all complete nonsense. They're trying to appeal to our principles while they lie to us. These people are interested in power. This is why when they try to appeal to our good nature with Palestine, and then completely flip and start mocking and celebrating gleefully the murder of Charlie Kirk. These people are not principled. They are liars, and they're lying to us while they appeal to our principles. But it does go to show, and it gives me comfort that we're winning. The only reason that they would do this is because we're that far ahead. We are lapping them, that they are desperately clawing back any way to try to get these people from following our movement.
Right. Well, they have no logic either. Even people on our side, I'm looking at some of you that are wigging out about these Epstein files. Did you see that? I sent this to you, that Prince Andrew abdicated all of his titles last week or the week before. Yeah, dude. Like, and okay, let's say that there were these files that absolutely implicated him while he was a Prince of England. Can that not be seen as a declaration of war if the United States government would release information like that? Like, does anyone not see that, like, a few things have to be in place before powerful people can go down? Like, we might have to watch a few ops before corruption is rooted out. But no, all these people want their handheld. They want a front row seat, and they want to say, okay, guys, this is what Daddy Trump's going to do today to give you to root out corruption. These people are sophisticated. We have to be sophisticated too. And that's what I feel like I'm seeing out of this administration. I mean, I don't know if this is just full on copium, but seems like everything's lining up the way it needs to for people to go down.
I think you make a compelling point. And one of the biggest questions we have about Epstein is whether he was an agent of Mossad. And let's say that there's a chance, and hypothetically, let's say he was. If you believe that Epstein was an agent of Mossad, do you really think it's going to be useful for us to release this information publicly while we're actively negotiating the end of a conflict between Israel and Palestine, while we're actively engaged in international trade wars, essentially, with the tariffs and all of that policy? It does actually make sense that there are some loose ends you want to tie up before you drop a bombshell like this, because this is the type of thing that could be earth-shattering for Mossad, for Israel, or for whoever is involved in what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And the idea that Pam Bondi went out with those binders before and kind of made a big show of the Epstein files and still is trusted by Trump as the AG, I think is compelling evidence that there is more to this story that we simply don't know. But people presume, they tend to almost forget that there are covert operations, that there's classified information, that there's top secret information. There's simply things that the public doesn't know. There's things that your congressman doesn't know. We do not have the full picture. We do not have the full story. And often that comes much later. So while we're living through this, I think patience is something that a reasonable person needs to understand. We don't have the full picture. We should absolutely keep the pressure on. I don't want to throw our hands up and say, you know, whatever. But at the same time, to make these demands, to act like it's going to, if we don't get it now, we're never going to get it. Or if we don't get it now, then he must be implicated. These are not logical or reasonable conclusions. And I think history will bear this out. I think if you're watching this podcast and it's like 2030 or later, I'm probably going to be looking pretty reasonable compared to a lot of the people that are speaking on this right now.
Well, I think that it's like, personally, I do think that if there is going to be anything that happens, it's going to happen within the next year. Like right now, we're in a year away from midterms being front and center. I'm concerned that like Charlie Kirk's death is going to feel like a distant memory by the time that we get there, for how short term our memory is now too. I do think timing is everything. And an Epstein file drop right now is not going to have much impact on the midterms.
Well, that's also true. Maybe it could be a timing question. But I will say, I think the Charlie Kirk thing did affect a lot of people very deeply. And the people that were changed by that event and changed by seeing the gleeful mocking of his murder, I think that those people, it is going to carry with them over time. You and I have already been on this side, so it's just another reason for us. But just like when Trump got shot, there were a lot of people that flipped on that day. And that carried them through. I don't think people are going to forget about it. I don't think people are going to say, oh, no, my big issue was the Young Republicans group chat that leaked last year. I don't think that was a compelling question for people. But I do think that front of mind for those people who were flipped by seeing that evil mask off face of the left when Charlie Kirk was murdered, I do think that it is going to be, I do think, and we'll see if this bears out, I do think we are going to be so far ahead in the midterms. I think we were already so far ahead. Like I think I've probably talked about this on one of the last two episodes. We chipped away at it from 20 to 24. Even the 2024 election results are going to see a drastic change because people realizing how far behind they are and the embarrassment of that loss. And then Charlie Kirk is another major event that changed people. I don't think the left is actually appealing to anyone. And even the No Kings protest I went to, none of their messaging on the left right now is appealing to anyone that isn't already deeply on their side. They're desperately trying to keep people in the left right now. They're trying to close the doors so people can't leave, because people are leaving. People are abandoning the left. And that's what I think gives me hope that we are so far ahead, because their messaging is not trying to appeal, other than what I discussed earlier, where they're trying to appeal to our principles while they lie to us. But all of the signs you would see at the No Kings protest, pull up any video or picture of people at the No Kings protest, it's very grotesque, it's very vulgar, it's very aggressive, it's very mean and rude. These people aren't out there in good faith. These people are out there trying to make sure that their base is still very emotional and angry about everything, because that's the only thing they have left. I mean, when their biggest win is the Republicans group chat, after they spend all this time saying, no, my job, I should be immune from firing because I gleefully mocked the innocent person's murder. You shouldn't fire me. That's protected speech. But then they have to say, oh, that these people who were in a
great, I love Hitler
edgy jokes. Yeah, making edgy jokes. We talked about
Hitler.
We talked about this on the weekly podcast of the week. You can't even attribute what's said in a private group chat, especially where there is edge and humor, because people might say, oh, it wasn't edgy or humorous. Certainly some of the messages in that group chat were. You can't attribute these to be the actual beliefs of the people who said it. But when you have someone like Jay Jones, who is talking to a friend who's visibly uncomfortable about what he's saying, he says, no, seriously, her child needs to die in her arms so that we get her to change on policy. That is apparently his true, real belief. You can attribute that to him.
You want to see a horrible Kamala Harris impression?
Yes.
I'm gonna
thank you for your prayers. I want to thank you for your emails. I want to thank you for your support. It has strengthened my spirit and it has anchored my souls. And so I want to thank you. But this is not about me. This is about all of us. And about a justice system which has been weaponized. A justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge. This justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge. And a weapon against those individuals who simply did their job and who stood up for the rule of law.
Isn't she trying to like emulate Kamala Harris here, dude?
A little bit, yeah. It is funny.
With the suit and the hair and the hands and the tapping herself and saying words that don't make any sense.
Yeah, my spirit. This isn't about me. I'm just facing accusations of mortgage fraud.
This was the speech she gave after she entered her not guilty plea.
It is just, it's so, I mean, the irony here is so obvious. I don't even think it needs to be explained. She's talking about a weaponized political system for people who, you know, just doing their job, really, just doing their job. We don't even need to. We could probably make a whole video about that. Subscribe to YouTube. But about the legal maneuvering that they've pulled against Trump. It's insane, honestly, but they're so used to it working. They're used to it working, and then people going, oh, okay, yeah, that's normal. This is how the system works. But Trump beat it.
Right.
And shout out to Trump's lawyers. Shout out to John Sauer specifically. I mean, he's got a fantastic team.
The publication VDare was able to beat the allegations. Like Tish James ran them into the ground, stole everything from them, created a legal atmosphere where they had no choice but to shut down an online publication, like little newsletter that had been on the internet for 25 years, but was centered around the dangers of immigration. And in VDare's case, legal and illegal immigration. They did not want to see any of it. Which, you know, that is the foundation of America. We're supposed to be able to print opinions like that. We're supposed to say, I don't think any immigrants at all, legal or illegal, should be allowed into this country. And we shouldn't face prosecution for that. That's the foundation of what it means to be in this country, the First Amendment. But that's not what happened with VDare. It's a really sad story. You should definitely go check it out. Follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, the immigration conversation is just so corrupted. I mean, even the immigrants that built this country, and I've made this point a million times, they didn't build this country by nature of being an immigrant. They didn't just come here and their status as an immigrant built this country. People came here as immigrants, assimilated, and helped build what we see. The people that are showing up at our border are not those people. They can't be. It's just basic logic. When you show up to the party, you didn't help set up the party. Those people were already here. Those guests that helped set up the party were here before the party started. So it's just... It's so corrupted that we have this idea that we owe immigration the success of our country. We don't. We owe people. We owe Americans the building of this country. It wasn't their status as immigrants. It was their status as stand-up citizens who contributed to their communities. You don't build just by being present. But our generation looks around and all of this stuff is built. It's all beautiful, and we just assume, oh, it just happens naturally. Oh, this is just what exists in the natural world, and it's really not. The American dream is not an unlimited resource. This was all built for us, and we're just handing it out. It's like trying to run a pizza shop, and your cashier doesn't understand that we don't have unlimited pizza in the back. You can't just give it out for free to everyone that you like.
Right. It's like the analogy I told you that I've been thinking about, like my little black pill scenario in my head where the game Hungry Hungry Hippos.
What's for lunch? It's Hungry Hungry Hippos! Hungry Hungry Hippos! Hungry Hungry Hippos! We love to feed our face. We're Hungry Hungry Hippos! We're in an eating race. It's Hungry Hungry Hippos! First to gobble up the most marbles wins!
Where all the little white balls are the tax dollars that I've paid during my entire adult working life. And like the 4 fat hippos are like, you know, EBT recipients or fucking USAID or Ukraine or any of these people that are just like farting away my money and not contributing to the American infrastructure in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's what it feels like. It is a pretty huge black pill, like seeing all these people get online and talk about how they're going to just steal from these corporations now because they can't steal from us.
Donald motherfucking Orange Man J. Trump. I'm gonna tell you just like this. What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting that goddamn food stamps in goddamn November? Cause I'm getting my goddamn shit. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers, but I'm getting my shit. Cause I'm gonna tell you just like this, on Jesus Lamar motherfucking Christ, I will be at motherfucking Walmart with my steel toes on and my motherfucking helmet, and I dare a bitch try to stop me from walking out that motherfucking store with my groceries. Baby, I'm 250 pounds solid. Baby, you want to see a human motherfucking bulldozer, baby? Because that's what the fuck I'm going to turn into. If you think you going to stop me from leaving out that goddamn store with my motherfucking monthly groceries that I get every goddamn month, I ain't bothering no goddamn body, okay? Why the fuck is y'all bothering me and my goddamn food?
We really do need to be holding people personally responsible for their crime. We got to stop blaming their circumstances. Like, oh, poor you. A lot of the reason people steal food, by the way, is so that they can spend the money they have on drugs. It's right. Not just because you're stealing food doesn't mean that you're doing that for a virtuous reason or because you need to. A lot of people will have the money to go spend on food and say, well, I could just steal the food and then I have this money to go buy drugs. That's a very real thing. I don't think people understand that just because you're stealing food doesn't mean that you're all innocent and it's your circumstance and you had to. It's just not the case.
Right. They will sell their EBT card to the corner store, who will then go to the big box retailers and buy those things, then restock it in their store. So make 150% off the top. They have $1,000 on their EBT card. They get $500 cash for it. And that shop owner gets to go use those benefits at Sam's Club or whatever else and stock those shelves and continue to sell those products. Like, we are being taken for a fucking ride here, dude. And people just want to be completely disingenuous about it and talk about the most destitute, the people that actually need it, when we're being bombarded with people that are abusing the system. I don't really have the space to talk about people that really need it right now, unfortunately, because the people that are abusing it are the ones stealing directly from them. And that's what I'm upset about. All right, this is the last one I have, obviously, about this NBA gambling ring that's happening. And we're finding out that it's the Italian mob that's funding it and organizing it and running it.
3 of the named defendants are charged for their alleged roles in both schemes. This alleged illegal gambling operation hustled unwitting victims out of tens of millions of dollars and created a financial pipeline for La Cosa Nostra to help fund and facilitate their organized criminal activity. Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines, fixing the odds in their favor, as alleged, and as you just heard from the U.S. Attorney's Office. This alleged scheme wreaked havoc across the nation, exploiting the notoriety of some and the wallets of many to fund the Italian crime families here in New York.
So they were running poker games that had card counters that would give the best odds to somebody who was off site, who would then relay that to the quarterback at the table, who was like wearing some sort of earpiece, who would then signal to other people at the table who had the best hand at the table. They were wearing contact lenses and glasses that they could see through the cards, which are crazy. They had x-ray tables where they could read what was on the cards. And that was just the poker side. On top of that,
Still going. Rozier turned it over again, having a tough night. And Rozier off the DHO, and he turned it over. turn it up, but you don't want to play with your crew, especially against the Miami Heat. I'll tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami? Yeah, better do it. Lock down to 3, they got to get busy. Rozier with a 9-1-1 comes up short. On Merrill. Rozier, a contested 3 is short. The ultimate teammates and sacrifice so much. Rozier on the show and go. That all year. Empty corner 2-man game. Rozier with a 3. Anderson with a rebound. Rozier relocates for another try. Boy, that was awfully shit. And still going.
Here, pause it real quick. That first play, because I know that second one's bad, but that first play, you know what I think is actually the real tell?
And the meter's still running, which is...
When he throws his head back, like, oh, shoot.
Oh, right,
man.
right. Well, there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this. He does this through the whole thing. I agree. I definitely noticed as well. He does this through like this whole video of these like over the top reactions. And there were people tweeting him like, dude, you better stop shaving points off, Gabe. Like in March, people were saying this shit to him, dude. Like it was obvious.
It's ruining sports and it's ruining people. I mean, there's people I know that are essentially fentanyl addicts when it comes to gambling. Like if I see another screenshot of a winning bet from someone that I know has their full account details show them deep in the red, I'm going to crash out. I'm going to lose my mind. Like, oh, cool, you won $1,000. I guarantee you that $1,000 is going straight back into the betting, isn't it? Like it's literally an addiction.
Okay, so all this stuff is out. Is anything going to happen?
Probably. I don't think that the FBI comes out and makes these kind of statements until they've collected pretty compelling evidence. It's like we were talking about with the indictments where, yeah, you can indict a ham sandwich, sure, but 90% of these indictments result in guilty pleas. So what does that say about how often a ham sandwich is actually being indicted? I think the fact that the FBI has come out and made a big stink of this, especially because of how damaging it is for the gambling world and for the sports world, I think that they probably do have very compelling evidence that we haven't even seen yet. And it'll be really interesting to see, because I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know how the lawyers will approach this on either side, but I do think that this is probably going to result in some drastic changes in the gambling world, because I mean, it's been obvious. Even just casual gamblers have noticed, like, it's, you know, like the NFL, the referees and stuff. It's a lot of questionable calls, a lot of things that you just wouldn't expect and could potentially be justified based on some sort of corrupt gambling scheme.
How does Adam Silver still have a job? You know, like how are they playing right now? Like you have to assume. I mean, this is Chauncey Billups is a head coach. He's the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. Like these aren't, you know, some second or third string nonsense players. These are people that are really involved on like the bottom level of the game that's currently being played today. You have to kind of assume that it's probably a lot more widespread than this.
This is also where the mob connection gets interesting, because a lot of people are saying, you know, why are you throwing away your $15 million a year career for this? Why, like, what's the motivation to do this for a few $100,000? Perhaps they're involved in some things a little bit more deep than they wanted to be. That's really an interesting and open question, especially with the connections that they've shown. The FBI has come out and claimed that have to the mob. I don't think even the people involved with the mob are necessarily on the, you know, good terms with the people that they're engaged with. I think there's a lot of very sketchy and scary things probably happening. And there's probably more players than we think, because Terry Rozier is a fair example of maybe someone who's not very good at hiding it, but this isn't something that's impossible to do. You know what I mean? Think about a quarterback. It's not that hard to throw it 6 feet to the right on purpose. And that can look normal. That can be hidden a lot better than some of these passes that are visibly questionable. You know what would be funny though, actually, if we did find out that Angel Reese was one of the biggest defenders in this case.
Well, that's what everybody is.
If I were her, I would say, I'm not bad at basketball. I'm just involved in the gambling thing. I'm just one of the one of the gambling ring fuckers.
Did you see what Stephen A. Smith said?
No, what do you say?
We know what world that I live in terms of politics. How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be. This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Because when you've got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know. We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today. I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we've seen that. We've seen people, we've seen accusations before. We've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before. You don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets. This ain't the platform for me to get into it the way I'm going to get into it. But I've been saying he's coming. He's coming because in his eyes, folks try to throw him in jail. In his eyes, he's innocent. They try to put me behind bars. I'm getting everybody. He's not playing. And so this, in a lot of people's eyes, talk to people in the NBA, talk to people in the NFL, talk to people in the world of sports. They think this is like the tip of the iceberg. These are the kind of words that are coming out of people's mouths. It's not a surprise. It's very disheartening. It's very concerning. We don't know where this is going to go. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Everybody's better brace themselves because he's coming.
It's true, and I don't think this is Trump going after the NBA because of, you know, some sort of their political opposition to Trump, but there is sort of this weird premise on the left that I think that they think, oh, if I posture as Trump's political opposition, he can't do anything to me because you can't go after political opponents. Now I'm immune because I've opposed him. That's not working. We're not run by PR retards anymore. It is going to be very interesting, and I hope that this does have us look at gambling as a sector a lot more deeply, because with how corrupt it can be, I mean, like, people, I think people should be allowed to gamble, but in my opinion, I think you should have to be at the stadium to gamble. I wouldn't, and when you have like these apps like FanDuel and stuff, maybe you should have to like prove your income or something first, because I can't stand the number of people that I know with no income that treat it essentially like a drug. You know, they think it's their get rich quick scheme. Their accounts are just deep in the red, but they don't even see that. You know, it's funny. I thought I was a good sports gambler because I would win all these big bets. But when I pulled up my total account details, I had bet like $10,000, and a lot of that's over and over because you win a bet and then you place another bet or whatever. But it was like I had won $10,000 and put in like 11. I was like, I didn't even know I was down $1,000. I thought I was ahead because I had all this money in the account. And it's just like there's something sick going on just in gambling, even the legal, even without the corruption and stuff. Like, there's something we need to really think and consider about how pervasive we want gambling to be in our culture. You can't get away from the ads, even though like Polymarket and like Kalshi stuff is starting to annoy me. It's like, does everything have to be gambling? Does everything have to be a get rich quick scheme? Especially when people are like, oh, people don't have enough money for anything, and oh, the economy's so bad. But somehow people are throwing their money away on bets. They really hide how much you've actually lost. You know, they give you all these free bets and stuff, and it feels like you're ahead, but you're really not. And it's turned people essentially into drug addicts. Like, I see them in the same way as I see someone who's addicted to a hard drug. I'm like, you're literally scraping by. yet you somehow have $75 to throw away at this. You know, it's like,
Right.
it doesn't make sense to me. But it is something that's going to be really interesting to see how this develops. How the conversation around it will hopefully, because the sports needs to be not infected by this gambling issue. Like, really, sports
Right.
should be very innocent, and it's just simply
It's
not like
already
that.
over, dude. It's over. When you turn on Sports Center, I'm sitting in a bar like last week, and the ticker was going by with the spread. I was like, what the fuck?
I miss the days when I didn't even know what a spread was. Okay, I literally just want to end it right here. I just want you to jump scare everybody with Corinne Jean-Pierre's new haircut.
Penn and Sadie.